Hi, Hannelie.
So, Andy, I read this really interesting article about gifted students. Students who give evidence of high performance capability in areas such as intellectual, creative, artistic, leadership capacity, or specific academic fields, and who require services or activities not ordinarily provided by the school in order to fully develop such capabilities. And then I spotted a term called twice exceptional students.
Twice exceptional students? Sounds so interesting. Yeah, so what is it?
Many are unaware of a population of children known to be twice exceptional, meaning they are both gifted and have a learning, processing, developmental disability, and they can even have an emotional or behavioral challenges. For example, consider Dexter. He's a bright, insightful, and enthusiastic fourth grader who is reading at a 12th grade level. At the same time, he can't pass his spelling tests, and writing is a huge struggle. That shows giftedness in one area, but a learning disability in another. And Andy, do you know why gifted students also face a big dilemma? Most gifted kids are unable to qualify and access special education accommodation due to meeting minimal grade level requirements and the lack of access to comprehensive or special education evaluations. The result? If you have advanced cognitive or academic abilities, you are able to score below to low average and then considered to be doing fine. First, also, with these students, their strengths outweigh their weaknesses, and they do not get identified as having a learning or processing issue. Second, their weaknesses outweigh their strengths, and they don't get identified as gifted or talented. And third, their strengths and weaknesses cancel each other out, and they don't get identified as gifted or learning disabled. The results for the twice exceptional students is frustration, underperformance, fatigue, and an emotional toll that often leads to depression and anxiety.
So, Hannelie, if I have a student in my class with a disability, then how could I identify them if they are twice exceptional or gifted with disabilities?
So, Andy, here are some ways of identifying twice exceptional students in your class.
Interesting.
First of all, students who excel but later show signs of disability. Then, students who've diagnosed disabilities who show exceptional gifts in some areas. Or highly intelligent students who seem average because they have disabilities.
Mm, so I think I had a student like that in my class. Alright guys, I'm talking about a real person, okay? When I was working in music high school, there was a drummer boy. Let's just say his name is Matthew. His performance in an audition for school was so fantastic that every music teacher loved his music. But once we accepted him, we had problems. When he was playing the drums, he was doing his performance but didn't know how to cooperate with others, didn't know how to keep up with others. In classes especially, he easily threw tantrums without any notice to other kids. And he kept sharing his thoughts and life even though nobody asked him. When I tested him with vocabularies, he couldn't even spell the words delicious and believe and even boring. He was a 10th grader, you know. Eventually, he got kicked out of school because the principal thought he would never pass the graduation test.
6번이 boring. 이 단어, boring, 이 단어. 그 다음,
interesting, Andy. But dude, I gotta go grab another coffee and update my Insta. So how about you go and do some research on interventions for these types of students and how you can help your students and tell me about it tomorrow.
Come on, this is serious thing, but you want to just cut it down now? Go ahead. Hi, Hannelie.
Hey there.
So, I did some research and there are so many ways to help students like him. What I found is that the lack of a clear definition that recognizes the unique characteristics and needs of gifted students with learning disabilities and the needs of a protocol for identification has resulted in few specific programs being developed in school systems for this population. I know many gifted students with learning disabilities would be best served by separate programs developed especially for them, but it is likely that many needs could be met through appropriate identification of strengths and weaknesses. And I think that a flexible, individualized approach to using the existing services and resources should be available in and out of school. So, gifted students with learning disabilities, aka LD, need A. High-level or gifted programming in their areas of strength. B. Developmental instruction in subjects of average growth. C. Remedial teaching in areas of disability. And D. Adaptive instruction in areas of disability. In developing the students' unique educational program, their particular strengths and weaknesses, as well as resources available in the school, should be considered. In planning intervention for students with LD who are gifted, we should not overlook the importance of providing counseling for those students to deal with their social and emotional needs. This is very important. Generally speaking, remediation is not the primary need for those students. Instead, attention should be placed on developing their gifts or talents.
So Andy, do you think your student should stay in your class or go to the school's special education class?
Let me talk about the benefits of keeping gifted students in a normal class, alright? You know what? Nowadays, few teachers have received special training in the characteristics of gifted students with learning disabilities, and few separate programs for these students exist just now. And if this arrangement can successfully challenge all students, including gifted students, average students, and students with learning problems, gifted students who also have learning disabilities could be well served.
Andy, I'm totally gonna disagree with you, and let me tell you why. I just think there's so many more benefits to special ed. So
What?
let me tell you. Okay. Numerous educators who have studied gifted children with learning disabilities have found that ideally these students should receive instruction as a special group for at least part of the day from a teacher sensitive to their specific academic, social, and psychological needs, and with peers who share their dual exceptionalities. Regardless of the severity of the student's problems, self-contained classes offer numerous advantages for differentiated learning and may be better suited to meet students' emotional needs. Such programs typically try to address issues related to raising self-esteem and influencing motivation, as well as individualizing instruction to enhance academic achievement. An example of a full-time program for gifted students with learning disabilities can be found at Assets, a school in Hawaii, for students who are gifted or at risk, or learning disabled or gifted and dyslexic. Do you want to go to Hawaii yet, Andy?
Nope.
No? I just want to go to Hawaii.
Too far.
Go ahead.
The school utilizes an interdisciplinary approach to instruction in self-contained classes, includes acceleration and enrichment to challenge strengths while also building basic skills, and attends to the students' social and emotional needs as well. Also, I believe that special ed would be better for students because gifted students with learning disabilities need programs unique just for them, programs that are challenging but also provide structure and strategies to accommodate weaknesses. Students gain support from being with other students who also exhibit seemingly contradictory strengths, and weaknesses. A general classroom teacher needs to be particularly aware that gifts and disabilities may mask each other, and that students who both are academically talented and have learning disabilities are likely to exhibit variable performance and social and emotional difficulties. So Andy, what do you think would be best for your student? Do you still disagree with me?
You know what? To be honest, I don't think I can decide it because I'm just a teacher. Okay.
So Andy, do you think there are any ways to help your student in the class?
I think it would help the students if enthusiasm for learning can be enhanced by helping gifted students with learning disabilities take responsibility for their own learning, exposing them to new and interesting methods of inquiry, teaching them self-assessment techniques, providing experiential learning, exposing them to a broad range of topics to encourage new interests and assisting them in locating information. Secondly, if a teacher can make some changes, particularly the use of technology, are highly recommended to help these academically talented students overcome their disabilities.
That sounds interesting. I would definitely want to do more research about how we can help these students in our classes.
That's right. So, do you want to know about some famous people with disabilities?
So Andy, well, actually, yeah, I know about Steven Spielberg, and he's just like one of the most successful filmmakers of all time, E.T. And he's actually had dyslexia. Did you know that?
Wow. No.
And he's definitely gifted.
That-
And then I also know about Whoopi Goldberg, and she has dyslexia as well. What about you? Do you know about any famous people who are gifted and have disabilities?
Magic Johnson. Do you know who Magic Johnson is?
I think I have an idea. He's a
Oh.
basketball player, right?
Exactly. He had a reading problem. Like he had a dyslexia, and he always said, "Oh man, I had a lonely feeling. I had a bad feeling."
So how is he gifted?
He's very good at basketball.
Okay,
Never
so
knew?
he's athletically gifted.
Exactly.
Interesting.
Oh, that's the word.
Okay.
That's cool. And also, I want to talk about Thomas Edison. Man, this guy, he's awesome. But you know what? He was unable to read until he was 12 years old. Can you imagine that? You know, he got kicked out of school. He had a homeschooling. But think about it. The writing skill was really poor throughout his life. Yeah, that's right.
That's why he had so much time for his inventions, right?
Exactly.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay, so we can talk about famous people all day long, but
Exactly.
let's go on. And then, so Andy, out of all of the different categories of disabilities, I think that gifted students with disabilities is a very unique category because they don't get recognized so
Exactly.
easily, and it's so many times that they just don't get help. What do you
That's
think
right.
about it?
I know it's not easy to compete for them when they have a LD, learning disability. But you know what? We have to let them know that it is possible. It is not impossible. It is possible. And also, I just want to say, we as a teacher, we don't teach the content, but we teach the students. I really want to say that. We have to remember, students who are both learning disabled and gifted can become some of society's most unique and great thinkers. So I think by helping them flourish today, educators will be creating the problem solvers of tomorrow. As history has proven time and time again, diverse thinking styles lead to a new and often revolutionary ideas. The ideas which can reshape our world for the better. Hey guys! I'm Patrick, by the way! Stop mumbling around and shouting. Just go back to your class. Thank you. I'm Andy Choi.
I'm Hannelie.
Choi.